this a bookish channel now? I kind of think it is at this point. Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm going to be going through the books that I have read from February to May. I only have about 6 or 7 of them, including the one I'm currently reading. This is my second bookish video, and there's more to come, trust me on that. The first book is one that I featured in the previous video, which I will link in the description below, and I'll leave a card somewhere up here. And I ended up actually putting it on the shelf for a little bit to read another book that I thought was more important at the time. So I had to return to it, and it is Killing England by Bill O'Reilly and Martin Dugard. And it is a much deeper look into the Revolutionary War and all the work and fighting that went into winning it for the Americans. Much like all of Bill O'Reilly's books, it features quite a few maps to really give you a lay of the land in during the Revolutionary War, which really helps visualize it, especially for me. I'm a very visual learner. The maps really come in handy for that, for those battles, to know where everybody was and what everybody was doing. Any Bill O'Reilly book is a 10 out of 10 for me. I love his writing. I love how factual it is. It's very historically accurate. Looking forward to reading the other ones in this series. The next book is one that I actually bought in Virginia, in Lynchburg, the first time I went to visit Liberty, and that is Bracelet of Bones by Kevin Crossley-Holland. And this is a Viking story. It is about Solveig, who I'm assuming that's Solveig on the cover. Her father leaves her, but not in the way you might think. He actually leaves her to keep her safe, but she is not having any of it, so she tracks him down and follows him. And this entire book is her adventures trying to find her father. It's slow to start, but once you're in, you're strapped in for the ride. Definitely recommend this one. Next up is If You Can Keep It by Metaxas, and this is the forgotten promise of American liberty. I never actually thought of the Constitution as a promise before, but now that I have thought about it, I'm never gonna think otherwise. Basically, it talks about the original intents of the Constitution and even goes into a little how we've strayed away from them. And it really goes into the quote, "Republic if you can keep it." Don't remember who said that quote, but that is where the title comes from, and it's just phenomenal. Please read this book. Next up is a book that I got down in Tampa, Florida, and that is Always a Soldier by Rob Smith. And one little extra, it's signed by the author. I actually got to meet Rob Smith at a meet and greet down in Tampa, and he signed my book. Ignore my really messy hair. In my defense, I didn't have a hair dryer, and it rained like crazy. Rob Smith is a man who is openly gay. He is also an outspoken Republican, which sets him up for a lot of controversy. People don't think that that is possible. So he has branded himself as America's favorite black gay Republican. And this is basically his story from serving in the military to where he is now. So I really recommend this book. There was a couple of chapters that I skipped, just some details in there I didn't really want to know. But yeah, it's a really excellent book. Next up is The Odd Sisters by Serena Valentino. You can't really see there it is. Yeah, the title is written in black print, and so it blends in with the cover. Didn't really show up that well on camera, but this is a series. This is a part of a series of Disney books. As you can see, that is the poisoned apple from Snow White on the front cover, and actually, when you lift the dust cover, it's a core of an apple. That's just fantastic. That's just really cool to me. The Odd Sisters is about a trio of witches who are sisters, but they are all 3 identical triplets. And I'm not going to give away too much about them, but anyways, what are their names? Lucinda, Ruby, and Martha are known as the Odd Sisters, and they seem to be the ones behind all of the villains that we meet. Maleficent, the Evil Queen, Mother Gothel, you name it, they've probably instrumented their schemes. This is a really cool series. I jumped in at the wrong point, so there were some details that I was confused about, but I'm definitely gonna hunt for the other books in the series. This is a really, really good series, especially if you like Disney and if you love the villains. This is a really good series to give you a little bit of a backstory and a little bit of what happens after Happily Ever After. Definitely recommend it. Next up, we have Agenda 21 by Beck and Harriet Parke. And when I tell you this book is scary, this is terrifying. It is terrifying because there's some very similar things between what happens in this world and what is happening in our world, and it's very scary. This book is centered around UN Agenda 21, which, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, there's an afterword in the book, and it talks about the real Agenda 21. I will read you this part from the afterword, which is talking about the real Agenda 21. Once you cut through all the propaganda, you're left with 9 basic principles that Agenda 21 intends to pursue. Number 1, move citizens off private land and into high-density urban housing. 2, create vast wilderness spaces inhabited by large carnivores. 3, reduce traffic congestion and slash fuel use by eliminating cars and creating walkable cities. Number 4, support chosen private businesses with public funds to be used for sustainable development. Number 5, make policy decisions that favor the greater good over individuals. Number 6, drastically reduce the use of power, water, and anything that creates carbon pollution. Number 7, use bureaucracies to make sweeping decisions outside of democratic processes. Number 8, increase taxes, fees, and regulations. Number 9, implement policies that incentivize a reduced population, i.e. one-child type laws. This is very startling. Beck's writing is phenomenal. I was gonna read another book after this, but I had to jump into the sequel because I have to know what happens next. I ate it up. I read most of it in the car, actually, now that I think about it. Is that weird? Most people get sick if they try to read in the car, but me, it's the opposite. I read better in the car rather than like sitting down at home to read a chapter of a book. When I was a kid, we wouldn't have DSs, we wouldn't have electronics, we wouldn't have a television in the car. We would read. We would read magazines. We would read books. That's what we would do when we were in the car. And since then, I just have read better in the car. Agenda 21 is definitely not for the faint of heart. This is a really good book. I do need to preface it, this is a work of fiction. So no, not everything that is mentioned in the story probably would actually happen, but it's very startling to see how similar it seems to some policies that are being implemented today. And finally, we come to the book that I'm currently reading, which is Agenda 21, Into the Shadows. I'm only a few chapters into it. This basically picks off right where Agenda 21 ends. So I'm not gonna give out too much away about it. I really don't even know how I can talk about it without giving anything away. If you haven't read the first one, that is. So, but yeah, this is, like I said, instantly, you just want to sit down and read this for hours, but you can't because you have other stuff to do. So, like I said, this picks up exactly where Agenda 21 left off. Same characters, same world. It's just, what's next? I'll let you know what I think about this in the next video. With that said, if you guys enjoyed the video, please hit the like button and also press the subscribe button to keep up with my reading journey throughout this year. We're coming up on my channel's 5th anniversary, so there will be a special video coming up for that. But in the meantime, stay safe out there. Hope you guys are having a great day. Bye.